Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Jake and I'm active duty, and I talk quite a bit about credit cards on my channel, and many of my credit cards are with American Express, and yes, they do have high annual fees. So this week there was news, an article from the website Doctor of Credit, which states American Express making changes to military SCRA MLA benefits annual fee waivers. And this has a lot of active duty personnel really worried that their American Express Platinum card or Gold card will no longer waive the annual fees for them. But there's no reason to worry. That's not actually what is happening. In today's video, I want to talk about what is the SCRA and MLA benefits associated with these credit card companies. Here's a screenshot of what American Express sent out to some of their active duty customers, and it just says American Express offers benefits for military cardholders. There are two types of benefits. The major difference between MLA and SCRA is the SCRA focuses on existing debts when a service member enters into active duty, and MLA focuses on credit extended to existing active duty service members. That's a very simplified explanation of what SCRA and MLA is. I want to just quickly recap for you in a little bit more detail. SCRA stands for Servicemembers Civil Relief Act, and this actually has been a piece of legislation that's been around since the Civil War. For over 150 years, sailors and soldiers, now including airmen, have been protected by the government while serving on active duty. The reason why is because military service may make it difficult to meet financial obligations, so certain legal protections are guaranteed. This makes sense because if you think about it, 100 years ago, if you were in the army and you were fighting on the Western Front in France, potentially you weren't getting paid on time, potentially you weren't able to pay your mortgage back to the bank in America, mail getting lost. So the government has always attempted to help active duty service members meet their financial obligations, even though serving on active duty does cause difficulties. SCRA benefits apply to active duty upon entering and up to 1 year after leaving active duty service. It also applies to National Guard and Reserve when they're activated on active duty orders. So SCRA protections do not apply to Guard and Reserve when they're not on active duty, and it doesn't apply to retirees or people who, or just veterans in general. This isn't a complete list, but a lot of the protections that are of note for the SCRA is that all debt that you have prior to entering service gets immediately reduced to 6%. All banks, credit card companies, student loans, car loans, everything. Any debt that you had prior to going on active duty, the second you're on active duty, those banks, it is federal law, have to reduce your debt to a 6% APR. Additionally, landlords cannot evict you unless there's a court order and the judge needs to be explained why you haven't paid your bills. Banks can't foreclose on your home for similar reasons. If you have belongings in storage, they can't be thrown away or sold off if you stop paying your bills, unless, once again, there's a court order explaining why on active duty you're not meeting your payments. Additionally, you can get out of cell phone contracts, vehicle leases, apartment leases, when you're given orders in order to move. If you're moving, you don't have a choice. The government is forcing you to move. So if you move to an area where you can't bring your vehicle, or they don't have T-Mobile cell phone coverage, or obviously your apartment, then you're supposed to be allowed out of all of these contracts and leases without penalty. Now, MLA is really interesting because the Military Lending Act has only been around since 2006, and then it was amended by Congress in 2013. And the Military Lending Act protects service members from financial abuses. And this includes cover payday loans, vehicle title loans, tax refund loans. Dealers must calculate separate APRs for service members. And I think that APR can't exceed 33%. You know, when you actually do the math of how much is a payday loan costing you or a car title loan, these are not good deals. These are egregious financial abuses. And it was so bad, I don't know what was happening in the news. I don't know if active duty service members were financially getting in trouble with these shady kinds of financial loans, but Congress had to step in 2006, and they told these banks and these companies, hey, you can't do this to people serving on active duty. You have to give them a reduced rate, a better deal. And this is what credit card companies like Chase and now American Express are saying, hey, we're waiving our annual fees for these luxury credit cards because we interpret this law, the Military Lending Act, meaning that we can't charge active duty service members high annual fees for these credit cards. Do they have to do this? No, they don't. This is their interpretation of the law. They're being generous. They're being nice. There's never been a court that has ruled on this or tried to enforce this. And indeed, there are other banks that have credit cards with annual fees and they don't waive them for active duty military. Navy Federal is actually one of these banks that doesn't waive the annual fee for their credit cards, even though that they exclusively, cater to military members and their families. If you have any more specific questions about SCRA or MLA benefits, you can watch another video I made on my channel, or you can just go to your base legal office. The JAGs have walk-in free consultation hours. You can literally go talk to them about anything. They're always happy to see you. Now, I need to make this clear that even though at the time of the recording of this video, AmEx has not changed their policy, they're definitely still waiving annual fees. This could change. This could change at any time. There's a Reddit thread, Military Finance, and there's a post talking about these AmEx SCRA to MLA changes. If you want to navigate here, I'll put a link down in the description. They're giving data points. As soon as somebody loses the fee waiver, I'm sure this will be news and it'll show up here. But people have been sharing their screenshots with AmEx customer representatives saying, hey, am I going to be assessed an annual fee now? And they're saying, no, that's not a thing. You are still good. You are still coded as receiving MLA protections. You are not going to be charged an annual fee. If you want to double check, triple check, be super secure, what you can do is you can go on AmEx's website and then click on Account Services. Scroll to the bottom and you'll see Request Card Member Agreement. Go ahead and click on that to download your agreement for each individual card. You can then scroll down to page 2 and you should have written there, you have been identified as a covered borrower under the Military Lending Act. See other important information in part 2, and it's going to tell you that you will not be assessed an annual fee for your card. Okay guys, that's all I got for you today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up or share it with anyone who might be worried, whoa, do we have to pay annual fees? In addition, if you have any data points or information that would be helpful to other people watching this video, please leave me a comment down below. It'd be super helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please consider subscribing. I post weekly about military and finance topics, and I, love my credit cards getting their annual fees waived. So until the next video, take care.